Everybody loves tables, especially my D&D players when I DM for them, because they say I'm terrible at drawing tables, but I think this is a perfectly good table, okay? Maybe the tables that I draw when I'm DMing are not as nice, but whatever. All right, we've talked about what is a function. We've used some notation, and now we're going to see some different ways. So previously, we've been looking at functions as words, but we're also going to talk about how can functions appear as graphs, as tables, and as formulas. And you guessed it, this is the video where we talk about functions as tables and tables as functions. So let's look at this first table, which has some kind of input. So everything up here is the input, and it has a bunch of outputs. So at a guess, what do you think these inputs and outputs represent? The first thing has 31, the second thing is 28, then 31. Hey, March did have 31. Oh, I spoiled it. Hey, this is the month. Maybe the month, we can call that M. And again, this is, hold on. the months are up top, right? Maybe that's month M. This is number of days. Call that D, whatever, okay? So months are a function of days. And days are a function of months. Outputs are a function of the input. Days are a function of months, but the other way is not a function. So we only have one-way functionage. All right, we could write f of m right here. That would make sense. F of m, the function, but in the month, you get the days. F of m equals d. But you couldn't go backwards. You couldn't write that m is a function of the days, because we have 2 days here. So if I say, well, what month has 31 days? You could say, well, August or October or July. So the function only goes one way in this case. Sometimes functions will go both ways. We'll call those one-to-one functions, but that's not something that we're going to talk about yet. Anyway, so here's an example. And we could do all sorts of things. We could say f of 2. When I put 2 inside, 2 being the month, the output is the number of days. F of 2 is 28. February has 28 days if there's no leap year. F of 11, my birth month, is 30, and so on. Take in the month, get out the days. And there's only one answer because it's a function. We have another function. What kind of notation, like here we wrote this notation, what kind of notation could we use for this function? And again, this function is only one is a function of the other. The output is going to go by itself, Q. That's a function of the input. And again, we can name our functions f, g, h. You can name your function whatever you want. F, g, and h being the most common. So this is one answer. One way you could fill in the blank here. But you can also, and this is also very common, again, just using this notation, Q of n. Q is a function of n. I don't know what these represent. Maybe you do. Let's move on to example 6. Which of these, if any, maybe none of them are, which of these are a function? Okay, function means if I give you an input, there is only one output. Okay, so input of 2 only goes to 1, input of 5 only goes to 3, input of 8 only goes to 6. So every input here goes to only one place. So this is a function. -3 only goes to 5, 0 only goes to 1, and 4 only goes, okay, this is a function too. What's going on here? Everything's a function. An input is only going to one place. And it's okay that they go to the same place, right? The question needs to have one answer is another way of thinking about functions, even if multiple questions have the same answer. And that goes back to that one-to-one comment that it doesn't have to go both ways. Function just means each input only goes one place. Now let's look at this third one. 1 goes to 0. But notice that 5 goes to 2 and to 4. Okay. So if we tried to write over here f of 5 equals what number, we'd have a problem. Does f of 5 equal 2? Does f of 5 equal 4? Well, an input of 5 gives both of those outputs. It's not a function. So only the first two tables are functions here. That's pretty much what we've got. We'll finish this video with a try it now. How could you modify this last table to make it a function? What would we have to change? So think about it. See if we get the same answer. So the problem here is that 5 goes to two different places. So one way that you could do it would just be to eliminate this row altogether. That would be an answer. Or you could just say, let's make this 5 a 4. Now it's a function. So those are two different options, two different ideas. Could change 5 to 4. The first 5 to 4. That's one way that you could do it. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Now we know how tables can appear as functions. And then next video, I'll give you a little spoiler. Spoiler alert if you don't like spoilers. We're going to talk about solving functions next. That's probably surprising because, I don't know. Bye-bye.